My purpose is to allow people as much as possible to realize that we all have a perfectly well-tuned machine that we are trying to take care of and make it last as long as possible. It's very similar to the concept of bringing your cars or your vehicles to the shop every now and then for a PMS. A PMS stands for Preventive Maintenance Service. So what I like helping people with is to know that we should every now and then do PMS for this machine. Wow, I've been trying all these years to try to lose some weight, to clean myself up, to get myself healthier. Never realized that doing a few days of juicing can actually make me see the effect. So that is a good encouragement for a lot of people. But having said that, I always mention that detox is not really meant for weight loss or weight management. It is a good bonus effect that you get out of it. But the main reason why we encourage people to do a detox is because it is the ultimate reset button. How many days would it take for me to realize that the water fasting program is able to help me deal with this, deal with that?
Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gay Gerard and I'm your host. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, today I'm somewhere very special. I'm currently staying at the health and wellness retreat called the Life Co in Phuket, and it's in Thailand. Situated right on a lake, super quiet and peaceful and relaxing, so it's a great place to reset. And I'm here to do their juice cleanse, the master cleanse actually, and also a water fasting program. So stay tuned for details on that. But today I've got an incredible guest. Dr. Phillip Lun Kee Chia is here, and he oversees and manages all of the detoxification and the wellness programs. And he's sitting down to have a chat with me about water fasting and juice cleansing and everything you need to know about the topic. So let's get right into it. Dr. Phil, it's so great to sit down with you and chat with you. I'd love to start by learning a little bit more about you and sharing with our audience, where did you grow up and what inspired you to become a doctor?
I was actually born in Hong Kong, but I grew up in the Philippines. My parents are both Indonesian Chinese. In the late 60s, early 70s, both my parents went back to China during the Cultural Revolution for free education. That's when they were designated to go through medical school or traditional Chinese medical school. So that's what they did. They met there, but got married in Hong Kong, and I was born there. But how I ended up in the Philippines was because my father wanted to set up practice in Hong Kong, but because of his youth, because of his young age, usual Chinese would be a bit prejudiced about that, I would say, because they would regard young people with less wisdom and less experience. So during that time, it was quite a challenge for my father to provide for the family. So during the early 70s, the most promising Southeast Asian country at that time was the Philippines. So he probably just took his chance and said, since the oldest Chinatown in the world is actually in Manila, he was thinking that there's definitely going to be some Chinese people who would appreciate his art for delivering traditional Chinese medicine. And luckily enough, when he took his chances and settled in Manila, he was actually the first traditional Chinese medical doctor who have been formally trained in China to practice in Manila. So he became a hit and the rest was history. And I grew up with that philosophy that when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to dealing with medical issues, it is traditional Chinese medicine that would be the solution for everything. So I never knew about conventional medicine at that time up until I graduated high school. My father's recommendation was for me to go into medical school so that I would be somehow equipped with the knowledge on traditional Chinese medicine, which I grew up with, and I was trained under my father during that time. And to combine the know-how of going through conventional medicine. And he was saying that it's definitely going to be the trend of the future when it comes to healthcare. It's going to be a fusion of traditional medical practices and mainstream medical practices. So I went through medical school, learning traditional Chinese medicine on the side with my father, and eventually uh, went on to practice integrative medicine after my residency training in the usual conventional medical route. So, when I graduated residency training, I went into family medical practice. So, family medicine was my specialty. It was a clear choice because that was the specialty that's most open to traditional medicine or alternative medicine. It's more about focusing on preventative health care. That's why I went into family medicine practice. And after formal residency training on that field, on that specialty, I went on to pursue integrative medical practice afterwards. That was like the early 2000s. So currently, I've been practicing integrative medicine for almost 20 years now. Yeah, how time flies, huh?
Where did you first hear about the Life Co and what led you to working there?
After graduating or after doing residency training, I went into integrative medical practice and I was running around probably around 5 or 6 clinics in Manila to do or to offer my services to guests. And that was quite challenging considering the traffic in Manila. It was a bit difficult to go from one clinic to the other just to service all these patients. And luckily enough, in one part of my journey, I happened upon an interesting regenerative clinic, which was run by the original regenerative center that's originating from Germany. So they were opening up satellite clinics all over the world to service patients that have undergone stem cell therapy with them. So when you say regenerative therapy, it would focus on stem cell therapy. So this company was opening up a branch, a satellite clinic in Manila, and I happened to be one of the chosen medical doctors to help them manage the patients that they have had over the years. So during that time, I was fortunate enough to meet one of the managers that's handling that satellite clinic. He's actually a Malaysian businessman. Soon enough, he decided to open up a regenerative integrative medical clinic in Malaysia. And he was offering positions to all the medical staff that he had a chance to work with during that project. And I was one of 2 or 3 people who actually said, maybe you want to take a chance and see what this opportunity would be like, because it would be the first opportunity for me to work outside the country where I grew up in. So I took the chance and went with this integrative medical regenerative clinic that opened up in Kuala Lumpur. That was almost 10, 12 years ago. And that gave birth to a clinic called Sonte Sanctuary in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. And that exposed me to a lot of different types of clients, international clients, and got me more focused on regenerative medicine, anti-aging medical practice, and at the same time doing what I am actually practicing until now. So one of my passions would be to offer advice or recommendations to people on how to take care of their own health and wellness. So it's more of letting people understand that health and wellness is something innate in all of us. The body knows how to take care of itself. But if we are always not allowing the body to realize this function, then it would never surface. So, what my purpose is to allow people as much as possible to realize that we all have a perfectly well-tuned machine that we are trying to take care of and make it last as long as possible. It's very similar to the concept of bringing your cars or your vehicles to the shop every now and then for a PMS. A PMS stands for Preventive Maintenance Service. So what I like helping people with is to know that we should every now and then do PMS for this machine, for that machine. So coming to a place like the LifeCo or similar to the clinic that I was running in Malaysia that time, it's all focused on letting people realize, hey, lifestyle is very important. What you introduce into your body is very important. So giving people information about how to get on to the right track and supporting your body's innate ability to heal itself is one of my drives of doing things that I have been doing ever since and still doing up to this present time. So how I ended up here at the LifeCo Phuket is a very interesting misunderstanding at the beginning, because one day I got a message through my social media and asking me that if I'm open to an interview. So I said, oh, okay, thinking that it was an interview for an article or a podcast or a paper. Okay, so I'm happy to say, okay, not a problem. So we set up a time, a schedule, and that time when I went on to this Zoom call, I actually was talking with the founder and owner of the LifeCo, which is Mr. Ersin. So at that time, I didn't know. I didn't know anything, no background about what the LifeCo is representing. All I was thinking that time, it was an interview for something. So we were comparing notes. We were talking about what I was doing in my medical practice and what LifeCo is doing. So in the end, I was thinking that we are striking up a partnership to have our patients, if they happen to be in Thailand, I can refer them to the LifeCo. And if they have patients coming through the doors of the LifeCo who are residing in KL, they would be able to continue their journey towards health and wellness with the clinic I was running in KL. So at the end of the interview, it was saying that, so we do have a lot of things in common. And when can we expect us working together? So I said, yeah, anytime you want to refer patients to us, not an issue. And eventually he said, no, I was talking about you working with the LifeCo. And I said, oh, where did that come from? Because I'm perfectly happy where I am at the moment. I have no intentions of looking for a different job or different position. So that's when Mr. Ersin intelligently maneuvered to apply, oh, sorry for that misunderstanding. And as a sign of my apology, I would like to extend an invitation for you and your wife to come visit us here. So we'll host you for 3 nights, no strings attached, and we'll see if we can work out something afterwards. So at that time, I had a leave coming up, so I took him up on his offer. The moment I got through the doors of the LifeCo Phuket lobby and had a view of that amazing lake, I just felt that a huge weight over my shoulders were just lifted off of me. I guess I share a lot of that sentiment with a lot of the guests that have gone through the doors of the LifeCo Phuket. So that point in time made me realize that, wow, I never realized that a place like this exists. And I never realized how stressed I was from all the years of what I've been doing, right? So after 2 nights of staying here with my wife, I was supposed to stay 3 nights, but there were a lot of responsibilities that I had to go back to. So I just cut the trip short. But I told Mr. Ersin that, yeah, I think I want to talk to you about this. So that was the beginning of my relationship with the LifeCo Phuket.
Can you tell us a little bit more about LifeCo? What health programs does it offer and what sets it apart as a retreat?
Comparing to what I was doing prior to coming here is that they would be able to offer what we call a holistic approach. Because part of what we or what the Life Co would want to translate to everyone that goes through their doors is that there is a natural solution to turning your lifestyle into a healthier one. So once you get on to the Life Co philosophy, you understand that yes, whatever you do, so we do have activities that are lined up for everyone to follow, because that would be a very good guideline, a very good way to let you realize that, hey, we would want to show you as much as possible to let you go through walking on the beach, bare feet, be more acquainted with nature, sit by the sand, smell the sea breeze, come back, do some healthy juices, participate in yoga, participate in kickboxing, qigong, do some breath work, do some sound healing. So we have everyone go through these types of experiences, knowing that there might be an opportunity for you to find out, hey, I never realized that doing this activity is actually quite relaxing for me. So it's more of an experiential type of engagement. And another thing that is quite important in what we are doing here at the Life Co is that we would be able to monitor what would be introduced into your system very, very carefully. So planning out what you would be having, whether you'd be having an eating program or whether you'd be put on a juicing program, or if you are seasoned enough. When I say seasoned, whether you're used to doing detoxification, we have another level of challenge, which is a water only fasting program. So we do support people through those different tiers of programs, I should say. It's an eating program, a juicing program, and we have the water only fasting program. So through those programs, we would be able to offer more confidence for people. It doesn't matter if it's your first time, doesn't matter if you've done this many times, or if it doesn't matter whether you're healthy, doesn't matter if you have some medical issues that you have to deal with. Everyone deserves to go through a proper detoxification program. You owe it to yourself to give you an opportunity to heal yourself. Everyone deserves a chance to understand that they can heal themselves in a more natural way, in a natural manner. So LifeCo is a raw vegan facility. We engage people, encourage people to be participatory in helping them realize how to fix themselves. So we are here merely as a cheering squad, cheerleaders for you to traverse your own journey to your own health and wellness.
How does the brand new and exclusive biohacking program and facilities that LifeCo in Phuket has on offer combine and integrate with the current programs of detoxification, so the water fasting and the juice cleanses, to offer a very unique set of advantages and benefits to the guests?
Fairly new program got added coincidentally, I would say by careful deliberation. It was designated to be hosted here at the LifeCo Phuket. Now, mind you, the LifeCo has 3 branches. LifeCo Phuket is the first branch that is international, and the other 2 are actually both situated within Turkey. One is in Bodrum and the other one is in Antalya. Now, due to the fact that Thailand as a country recently legalized the use of cannabis, that was a leeway for us to look into biohacking strategies. So biohacking is simply a program that would utilize a lot of cognitive devices. So at the moment we have around 5 devices, wearable devices, that would tap into the person's subconscious or the autonomic nervous system, depending on what devices would be used. And what they do is to give you sort of a reset emotionally and mentally or psychologically. Because a lot of the times that whenever I get to meet up with people, you know that they are going through stress. And stress is a very vague term. Stress could mean anything. It could be stress physically because you're dealing or suffering from pain, or it could be stress because recently you lost a loved one, or you went on to a very difficult divorce or relationship issues, etc. These could be a very good root cause of a lot of issues. So the life coach philosophy would want to go on to helping people deal with as much issues as possible the natural way. And through the biohacking program, we would be able to tap into the person's subconscious, tap into the person's autonomic nervous system response, and help you calm down from there. Because it would be very challenging to help people feel better, get better, if you don't involve the mind, the heart into the whole strategy. Even if you are the healthiest person in the world physically or physiologically, if this and this doesn't blend in, then you would still be feeling, no, I'm not 100%. You'd always find that reason to say that I don't feel well, right? So we want to cover as much basis as possible. So that's why out of all the LifeGo branches, I think the LifeGo Phuket would be able to be more holistic in approach, because we not only take care of your physical or physiological health and wellness, we want to involve your psycho-emotional health and wellness as well.
Can you tell us, what does the biohacking program include?
So the biohacking program is an optional thing to include the use of cannabis. We use medical grade cannabis just to ease the tension off of you, get you to settle down. Maybe if you have a bit of an insomnia or sleeping problems, getting on a bit of a cannabis would get you off the edge and realize a healing potential out of marijuana. So it's not meant to make you high, but it's meant to just get you to mellow down so that you would be more open to these types of effects that you would get from all these cognitive devices available. So that program is under the leadership of another doctor. He's a naturopath by profession. His name is Dr. Ryan. So Dr. Ryan is a neuropsychologist. He got his degree from the US, and he would actually help or guide our guests who would require or who would benefit from cognitive devices, and we would enroll them under the biohacking program. So yeah, if you find yourself having some psycho-emotional issues that you are having a bit of a issue or challenge getting through with, or you feel that these types of situation is actually affecting your overall health and wellness, I would suggest getting some bit of a marijuana in you and probably try cognitive devices here at the LifeGo Phuket. And Dr. Ryan would be able to help you or guide you through and see whether or not it would give you a significant improvement to your health and wellness trajectory.
Can you explain what detoxification is and why it's important to us, and what is a detox vacation?
When we hear the word detox vacation, like what Gigi's saying, a lot of people would think that, oh, I'm here, away from work, away from family. I'm just going to relax and, do nothing. Now, when you go through a detox vacation, I would say it's not as easy as everyone thinks it is, because a detox, while you are on a vacation, is actually quite hard work as well. It's very challenging, because one thing that I always mention is that we live in a very toxic world at the moment, right? Yes, we have all the conveniences that we can think of, but then it creates a lot of shortcuts for a lot of things, but it makes man very complacent, very lazy. And because of that reality, we are exposed to so many toxic things, to so many undesirable substances that gets into the body, and we don't know how our natural system is reacting to this. And most often than not, we hear people suffering from autoimmune conditions or lots of inflammation, or nowadays it's very natural or very common to hear, oh, you know what, this child is suffering from ADHD or ADD. It's like something normal, but a lot of people fail to connect to the fact that maybe these types of modern day medical issues might be, or it is strongly related to modernization. So a lot of modern amenities might play a significant role or impact the health and wellness of people living in the 21st century. So one of the roles of a detox vacation is to just reset you and to allow you to realize that we are part of nature. We should not push ourselves away from nature. That's why when you look at all the LifeCo branches, it would be situated in a very natural setting. Well, LifeCo Phuket is in the middle of nowhere. So one thing that a lot of our guests do appreciate being in a place like the LifeCo Phuket is that if there's an inkling in your mind to say, oh, I can't do the juices anymore, I want to sneak out, I want to go to the nearest convenience store and buy something because my body just can't take it anymore. You go out there, you'd be lost. The closest convenience store from the LifeCo Phuket would be a 2-kilometer walk, and there would be a lot of stray dogs, stray animals out there that you don't want to be messing with when you attempt to want to sneak out. And yes, going through that process would take a lot of mental strength, mental power, willpower for you to be able to champion through that. But believe me, if you are able to get through that hump, you would be so proud of yourself. Nothing would beat the feeling of, yeah, facing a challenge. It seems insurmountable at first, but day by day, once you go through inch by inch, you'd realize that, hey, I'm stronger than I give myself credit for. And once, like I said, once you go through that hurdle, it's like, wow. It's like achieving something that your body would just be so, wow, refreshed, so feeling victorious. And that feeling is just like incomparable, because nothing would beat feeling reset, feeling great, feeling like you can conquer anything. So yes, a detox vacation does sound or does have a lot of good benefits in the end, but getting through those steps before you achieve those could be a bit tricky, could be a bit challenging, but that's what we are here for, to cheer you on.
What is the difference between juice cleansing and water fasting in terms of the impact on the actual body, and what are the benefits of both?
We do have a juice program and a water-only fasting program. Initially, when LifeCo was conceptualized, the number one go-to detox program was the Master Detox program. It contains a no solid food diet. So it's just mainly juices. There would be 5 different juices being served throughout the day. And the nice thing about that program is that it is a beginner-friendly detox experience. So if you've never heard of detoxification before, I would say get yourself familiar with our Master Detox program. And as I've said, it is beginner-friendly because the contents of the juices would have the psyllium husk and the bentonite clay, which will ease your way into saying goodbye to solid food for the meantime. So when you are ingesting the psyllium husk, once they get into the stomach, it expands. So in a way, it fills up your stomach. So feeling full is one effect that you get out of that. So you forget being hungry. You forget that you need to stimulate your stomach with stuffing food inside it for a while. So psyllium husk would be able to help you bridge that gap of not having any solid food to have. Besides, when you have this bentonite clay in it, it would be able to absorb all these toxins that are hidden in your cells. So when you've never done or never had an experience with detox before, getting onto the master detox would be a good stepping stone for you to get into that cleansing mode. The longer you stay on a juicing program, the deeper the cleanse would be. Now, the difference between the master detox program and a water only fasting program is, number one, there is absolutely no calories involved in a water only fasting program. In a juicing program like the master detox, you'd probably have roughly around 500 calories in a day. So even at a 500 calorie content of a program per day, it's even much less than the amount of calories that people nowadays are used to on a daily basis. Some people are used to 1,500 calories, 1,800 calories, 2,000, 3,000 calories per day. So the mere fact that you go on to a juicing program, master detox program, where it cuts it down to 500 calories per day without you feeling hungry or longing for food, that would create a physiological phenomenon that make you realize, hey, wow, I've been trying all these years to try to lose some weight, to clean myself up, to get myself healthier. Never realized that doing a few days of juicing can actually make me see the effect. So that is a good encouragement for a lot of people. But having said that, I always mention that detox is not really meant for weight loss or weight management. It is a good bonus effect that you get out of it. But the main reason why we encourage people to do a detox is because it is the ultimate reset button. Now, we don't have a reset button, not like a laptop or a computer. When things go wrong, you get a blue screen, you press the reset button to do a hard reset, and you pray that it won't happen again. So we don't have, well, we do have a button, a belly button. You press it a million times. I don't think that you would get a detox from that. You'd probably get pain from that. So there is nothing like that. But the closest thing that we can offer as a reset button would be to undergo a detox program. So Master Detox is the initial go-to program, especially for beginners, or if you're used to doing a juicing program, there's no harm doing it longer. But then we have a next step for seasoned veterans. So people who are, I've been doing detox for years. I've been doing this every 3 months, every 6 months. And they might be looking for what's next, what's more challenging than this. That's where the water only fasting program comes in. And a water only fasting program is exactly that. You're only having water.
Is there an optimal time for somebody to do a water fast? And at what point does ketosis kick in where the body starts burning fat?
The minimum amount of days that we would enforce to let you get to feel or to enjoy the benefits from from the water only fasting program is at least a minimum of 5 days. Yes, there would be a lot of people who say, but other centers are offering 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Why are you offering? It's simply a matter of perception. Nowadays, a lot of people are more inclined to do shortcuts. They're always looking for what's the shortest, what's the easiest way to go about this. And yes, by default, if we want to look at water-only fasting as a way, as a strategy to help you with your medical issues, the benchmark would always be a 21-day program. But if people hear that, they would all upfront, they would hear, how many days would it take for me to realize that the water fasting program is able to help me deal with this, deal with that? If I say it's going to be 21 days, it would be an idea that they would never visit ever again. So that's never the intention of the Life Co. The intention of Life Co. Is to offer as much information to everyone as possible so that they would be comfortable enough to attempt. I know it's just like a marathon, right? If you say, oh, what's the best sport? Oh, marathon, doing a marathon. And what's the entry level? If there is no entry level, oh, a full marathon is 42K, 42 kilometers. It's like, okay, never mind. I don't want to attempt doing a 42K run. So that's why a marathon would have entry levels. They have a half marathon, 21 kilometers. They have a 16 kilometers. They have a 10 kilometer. They also have a 5 kilometer marathon for those who would want to see whether or not they're okay with this type of a sport. So usually after around 3 days of not having anything, just drinking water, that's when your body would deplete its stored sugar. And that's when your body would start getting into ketosis. Ketosis is when your body run out of fuel, and the usual fuel or the default fuel of the body is carbohydrates, or breaking down carbohydrates and converting that to glucose or sugar. But when that supply is stopped because you're fasting, your body would get to a point where it's utilizing or consuming the leftover or the stored sugar you have in your liver, in your muscles, in your tissues, everywhere. And once that is done, it would have to resort to using a different source of energy. And this is where burning fat comes in. This is where ketosis comes in, because once the body starts to eat fat, it's not going to produce glucose. It's going to produce ketones instead. So that transition usually happens between 3 to 4 days. So the bare minimum that the Life Co would usually recommend for people who wants to try to get on to a water fasting or water only fasting program is for you to get on to at least a minimum of 5 days, so that you would be able to go through the ups and downs of running out of glucose and shifting into ketosis, because that transition would usually create a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles for people to go through. And that's where we would offer our medical support to be able to let you comfortably go through those stages, and for you to say, oh, wow, I wouldn't have never gone through that situation properly if I weren't here, if I weren't under the support of the Life Co system. So this is what we intend to have everyone experience. We want you to be able to challenge yourself to be able to go through at least a 21-day water fasting, water only fasting program, but we want you to do it step by step, especially if you've never had any type of an exposure to what a detox vacation is, what detoxification is in the first place. We'll get you through going through those experiences step by step to a point that you would say, oh, if I was able to do 5 days at the Life Co, what's stopping me to do a 24-hour fast or a 48-hour fast at home? If you want to do it yourself, yes, you ask for the recipe, we would be so more than willing to share the recipe with you. But then if you want to do this at home, you would have to make sure that all the components of the greens, the fruits that you would need to make that juice is readily available for you, so that when you would want to start that juicing program on your own, you would be able to easily replicate that. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. So a lot of people would just say, oh my gosh, it takes a lot of work. Forget about it. But if you are on a water-only fast, there's no excuse, right? Because we all have safe, drinkable water, potable water at home. So anytime you just feel like, I think I want to embark on a healing journey, I want to do fasting. And a water-only fast would simply require this: your willpower, your emotional strength, and drinking water. That's it. So there's no special requirement whatsoever for you to be able to do this on your own. So it's all a matter of setting the time, making sure that you are mentally, emotionally prepared to do so, and that's it, and go for as long as you can. And the nice thing about a water fast, the moment that you, I don't think I feel okay doing this, just break it.
Can you explain to us the difference between ketosis, when the body's in the fat burning state, and also autophagy?
Those two things, ketosis and autophagy, they usually have very similar circumstances behind them. What the difference would be between those two is duration. So when we talk about autophagy, it is a situation wherein your cells would feel that whatever food or whatever meal you had last is already consumed and they still want more. Autophagy simply means self-eating or cannibalization. So you're self-cannibalizing. So most often there are many different schools of thought behind that, but a lot of research would say that autophagy happens after around 12 hours, 14 hours of you not having any meals. So after 12 or 14 hours from your last meal, you actually get into your body getting into an autophagous state. So parts of your body would have cells where, oh, I'm still hungry, or I'm hungry now. So what they'll do is start to look for cells that are damaged, that are dysfunctional, or that are useless. So they start to feed on that. So in a way, it cleans you up. Now, when you go into ketosis, that is usually when all your stored sugar are completely consumed and your body would say, oh my goodness, we ran out of food. If we don't find anything else to eat, we will die. So the cells would say, I don't want to die. So we have to look for a way to keep on living. So this is when your body would say, hey, we don't have carbs to consume. So why not try the fat? And when your cells start to eat fat, it doesn't give you glucose, but instead it gives you ketones. Hence the term ketosis. You get into having your body produce a lot of ketones and you get into that ketotic state.
Breaking a juice fast or a juice cleanse is so important to avoid digestive problems. Can you explain what we should be eating directly after coming off a juice cleanse or a water fast in the first few days in the week straight afterwards?
When you are on a juicing program, it also depends on the length of the juicing program you are on. So when you're on a juicing program, you would actually have no solids at all. It's mainly liquid. It's a liquid fast. It's a liquid diet. So if you were to go on to more than a week of a juice program and you decided to break it afterwards, a good way, rule of thumb for you to go through that is to get onto less impactful food. So either have fruits and vegetables, or ideally, if you can make sure that the vegetables are softer, more so if you do have digestive issues. So to begin with, if you went onto the program, detox program, let's say you don't have any of those issues, you're healthy, you can actually transition from the juices back into small frequent feeding when you're coming off of the fast. But if you have digestive issues, I would suggest you might start to do some steamed vegetables first to make sure that your body is not going to be overwhelmed after a week's worth of vacation of not having any solids. You're just asking them to come back to work. So it's like when your digestive system goes on to very low work mode, you don't want to shock them into eating a lot of hard to digest food. So a best rule of thumb is to make sure that the digestion is properly supported either by having fruits or having soft vegetables beforehand or afterwards. Now, when we talk about a water fast, a water only fast, this would be a bit more tricky because a water only fast consists of nothing. With a juice program, you still have probably less than 500 calories in a day. Your digestive system would still be working a little bit, but on a water-only fasting program, there is no work to be done. Now, in order to brace your body from a shock of not having anything to eating something, the best way to go about it is to get on to cucumbers or anything from the cucumber family, because not everyone would just prefer having cucumbers. So watermelon might be a more ideal candidate for that. Anything that belongs to the cucumber family would have a very distinct characteristic wherein they would contain 90% water, so only 10% solid. So if you've come off of a week's worth of not having anything, only drinking water, you want to gently wake your digestive system up by using those cucumber or members of the cucumber family, just to make your bodies, realize that, are we starting to work again? So make sure you break it properly. For every week you are on a water only fast, you need to allocate a minimum of 1 day to break the fast with. So if you've gone 2 weeks, you need at least 2 days or more. Like I said, it's at least. So if you're after, let's say you did 14 days of a fast and then you did 2 days of just melons, if on the third day you're still feeling, I don't feel like having a regular meal, you never go wrong when you stick with the melons or the cucumbers. So at least a minimum for every week, at least a minimum of 1 day to break the fast.
We know that doing a juice cleanse or a water fast can have a myriad of benefits. Can you share with us some of those benefits? And why would somebody want to do either a juice cleanse or a water fast?
Doing a water only fast is a good attempt of allowing yourself to realize your own healing potential. You need to be able to get yourself to go through at least a minimum of 21 days of a water fast. So slowly, it's like a muscle. You're training your muscle. You're training your muscle to be stronger, to be more resilient. Same thing is true with learning how to do a water only fast. You might want to try doing 1 day, 2 days, 3 days at home. But if you say, I want to go further, I want to challenge myself more. So this is where the life code, maybe thinking about the life code would come in. We would be able to help you go through a minimum of 5 days, go 7 days, 10 days, 21 days, 30 days, etc. The longest that we had to support a person going for a water only fast at the Life Co Phuket was 43 days. So 43 days continuous of water only fasting. Yes, I've seen many people, whatever varied diseases, every person have their own magic number. It would probably take maybe 5 days for this person to handle this situation, 11 days for that person. No one knows that, but you would never have an idea what would work for you if you never even attempted to do so. Like I said, once you are able to get through a certain hurdle, once you're able to get through a certain challenge, you would be feeling so proud of yourself that yes, anything is definitely possible.
Dr. Phil, what is your best advice if somebody's sitting at home and they're feeling maybe low energy, they've got some digestive issues, they're not sleeping properly, they may be suffering from anxiety, or they're just wanting to reset their body, and either they're considering a juice cleanse or a water fast? What is the first step that you would suggest for them?
So best is always to get on to fruits and vegetables, right? Fruits and vegetables, I would say, would be the least evil amongst the food choices available now. Find ways, look up recipes on how to add more greens into your smoothies, get on to as much fruits and vegetables into your eating habit so that you would be able to get more alkaline benefit out of that. Human beings are supposed to be active. We're supposed to be physically active. That's why when you enroll here at the Life Co center or any centers in Life Co, you'd always see that every day there would be definitely at least 2 physical activities that we have planned or scheduled for everyone. Keep your mind active. Don't let your mind just stagnate.
Firstly, I just want to say thank you so much to you for all the support you've given me over my few days that I've been here. I've thoroughly loved my time here so far. It's been wonderful. So thank you for everything that you've shared with me, the knowledge and the wisdom. You've kept me going. You've inspired me every day. I've walked into that clinic. I'm thrilled to be able to bring you to my audience and let them in on a little piece of the magic there at Life Co in Phuket.
You're welcome.
Thank you to everybody for watching today and sharing this time with us. I hope you've gained value from this incredible conversation with Dr. Phil. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss another interview. I've got some great content coming up. And until next time, bye for now. Thank you.